Hello YouTube, I'm going to be doing a deck profile and I'm going to showcase the cards that I'm doing. It's actually a Gren Maju danger deck profile that I'm doing. So let us continue forward, starting off we're playing 3 alpha. The reason why I'm playing this card because this deck isn't really a spam type of deck, but because you need ways of trying to get rid of and bounce one of your monsters in this card to get rid of more, to basically move around your opponent's the opposing monsters from their field to the hand, so you have a chance of trying to be able to go after their life points and attacking them directly and dealing more damage. The next card we're obviously playing, so maxing out, is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It is a hand trap that is utilized in almost the majority of decks because it's a showstopper. It takes away the opponent's consistency and it comes in clutch near the beginning and end of game. Then we're going to be starting off with our dangers. Danger Bigfoot has a 3k beater. It's able to pop face-up cards and it's able to outmatch almost all majority of the creatures in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And very easy to summon, as well as Danger Thunderbird is the least strongest compared to Bigfoot, but it's able to get rid of your opponent's set cards. And you need to possibly go into your rank 8s or Dark Fusion monster. Our non-danger monsters, we have Leader of Millions to help power up Gren Maju, and you'll find out later, because not only is he easy to summon by banishing 5 or more cards from your hand, field, or extra deck, he gains 100 attack and defense for each face-down banished card, and not only that, if he battles one of your opponent's monsters, you can banish it face down as well. Another card that powers up our Gren Maju is Gizmek Orochi. He's a card that you can special summon from your hand or grave whenever, but it's a hard one per turn, but it is a quick effect, so if you haven't activated its effect, you could have a chance to activate it later in the game or during your turn, during your opponent's turn. And then it comes up as a both all-around offensive and defensive card. And our main monster of the deck and the whole core of the deck is Gren Maju de Aiza. Pretty much gains 400 for each banished card on your side, and he can become a heavy beater and the strongest monster throughout your deck, depending how many cards you banish. So he solidifies the game state because you can keep track of how many cards you banish, and you reveal the amount of cards that are banished on your side to field to your opponent, and then they have to multiply it by 400. So he can get strong really fast. And then Nibiru, the Primal Being, is another hand trap staple in this deck because it has a really massive attack stat as well, and then be able to tribute all your opponent's monsters, including mines, special summon a token to field, so that way you can kind of outlast their field, so that if they have ways of trying to get rid of you early in the game, you want to be able to prevent that. For our spells, a hand trap called by the grave to get rid of hand traps, so you can continue with your offense. Forbidden Droplet, so you can get rid of those, be able to not effectively affect and negate the effects of those meta monsters that your opponent possibly might control, that could potentially negate your card's effects that are either unaffected, cannot be destroyed, or targeted by effects or by battle. So not only does it negate its effects, it has that monster's attack as well, and on top of it, not only that, they cannot respond depending on the cards that you send from your hand or field to the grave. Pod Desires, which is what you certainly most likely should max out in this deck, because it's if you banish 10, already Gren Maju is already 4,000 attack, and it gives you you get to draw 2 cards as well. Small World, very important card as well, because you reveal 1, banish 1 from your hand, and 1 similar based on the certain stats from your deck as well, face down. So you can add almost any certain monster from your deck hand based on the cards that were banished by this effect. Super Polys to give you an extra summon on top of that your opponent can, neither player can respond to its effects. So you not only can you go into a really strong fusion monster, but like it can help you clear your opponent for game. And our last card is Allure of Darkness to help you draw 2 cards because we're playing a lot of dark monsters so that you can benefit off its effect. So banishing 1 allows you to gain 2 so that you can see Gren Maju a lot more quicker. You can keep powering them up even more, and you can further better your game state. And let's go straight to the extra. So it's mainly gonna be super poly targets. We have Deplexer Chimera if we're up against Cyber Sark monsters, Cyber stacks in general, including Earth Golem Adignister, Mud Dragon Swamp for basically a lot of generic monsters that your opponent might possibly be playing, as long as they have the same attribute but different types. Predaplant Dracostapelia if your opponent's playing a fusion deck, as well as like a dark monster, so you can benefit off of that using Super Poly. Not only that, like if your opponent, you could target one of your opponent. It's a quick effect. You could target one of your opponent's face-up monsters. You place a predator counter on it. All the level does not matter, but as long as it has a predator counter, you can pretty much negate that monster's effect at any time. So, and on top of that, we have our heavy bar, probably one of our more stronger fusion super poly targets, starting Venom Fusion Dragon. Although you have to use monsters on the field, the purpose is we want to get rid of either our opponent's monsters, or if unless we're about to defeat our opponent, this could lead to game as well, because the purpose of playing super poly is that we want to finish off our opponent as quickly as possible. So if I already have 2 dark monsters on the field and I manage to kill, let's say they have like 2000 or less life points, I can fusion someone with the monsters I already have on the field as long as I discard 1 card. And on top of that, and if they don't have anything, to respond to my starting Venom Fusion attack, that's pretty much game. So. And then our another fusion monster is World Child Scar Dragon Almarduke. Although you might not see it as often, it might not come up as much, but it's also very important, especially if your opponent's playing a link spam deck, because you want to ensure that you get at least, although it requires more monsters, at least you're getting rid of more monsters that your opponent controls, so you can benefit off its effect and summoning a really strong monster, and then being able to kill off more boards and just doing a lot of collateral damage. And our final extra monster is Dingirsu, since it's easy to access with this deck, since the majority of monsters in our main deck is our level 8 monsters, because when you see some, you have to combine the monsters, you put the monsters together, and then once you do, then you put Dingirsu right in front on top of them, and then you have him, and then being able to trigger his effect, either to send 1 card your opponent controls the graveyard without targeting, and then being able to attach one of your banished machine monsters to this card as a material. And again, I hope you guys enjoy this Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and from now on, when I start making more deck profiles like this, it's most likely going to be screen recorded online using Dueling Books app or the program that I have on my computer. That way it's going to be easier to showcase. I don't have to keep showing my cards in real life. And this is and to be real, this is the deck that I am playing in real life. I do own this deck, so I can because personally, like I could show my cards, but I don't feel it's necessary now that I'm able to screen record, because like it's gonna be really of a waste of time. Like it's gonna be a lot of trouble like adjusting when moving my camera and cards at the same time, because like I can be able to multitask while I record, so it'll be a lot easier, so that at least with my computer I can adjust what's going on. I have control, a lot better control of when I screen record, or when I do videos like this, so it'll be a lot easier for you guys to be able to comprehend what I'm doing when making these kind of videos, than that eventually that when I do deck profiles, it's a lot less stressful. And again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check your notifications. Hopefully I'll be able to do more Yu-Gi-Oh content like this. Peace.